The creaking of the old rocking chair beneath me sliced through the late afternoon silence, an unexpected intrusion. It reverberated in my ears, too loud for such a peaceful moment. I glanced at my pillbox on the small table beside me, its half-empty state glimmering like an unspoken accusation. My fingers brushed against the smooth surface of the box, feeling its coolness seep into my skin. I had just filled it last week, and yet here it was. So many compartments vacant, as if someone had quietly slipped their hand into my life and taken what was mine without asking. I sat up straighter in the chair, a rush of unease tightening in my chest. The way those empty slots gaped up at me felt like a betrayal wrapped in silence, echoing memories of trust that no longer seemed secure. I could almost hear whispers of doubt swirling around me as I thought about who might have taken them. Samuel was supposed to be home soon. He'd been running errands since this morning. A part of me wanted to confront him right away, but another part hesitated, knowing how easily accusations could shatter our fragile peace. When I heard the screen door creak open behind me, I stiffened slightly. Samuel stepped onto the porch with bags cradled in his arms. He must have noticed something off, because his brow furrowed when he caught sight of my expression. "Hey there," he said, his voice bright but tinged with concern. "What's got you looking so serious?" I forced a smile while still clutching the edge of my pillbox tightly. The act felt familiar but hollow, as uncertainty gnawed at me from within. How could I voice my suspicion? It sounded ridiculous even in my own thoughts. "Just thinking about things," I finally replied, hoping he wouldn't pry further. He nodded and began unloading groceries onto the table near my rocking chair. With every item he placed down, a bunch of bananas, a carton of milk, I felt a growing chasm between us, one that didn't need words to form. As he set down a loaf of bread, something shifted inside me. If there was a chance someone else was meddling with my pills, which were more than just medication, they were pieces of my daily routine, then I needed answers quickly. "I should check on Denise," I said abruptly, standing up from my chair and brushing crumbs off my apron, as if shaking off invisible doubts along with them. Denise? She lived just 2 doors down and had recently offered to help whenever she could. We had been friends for years. Surely she would know if anyone was hanging around here uninvited. Samuel paused mid-sentence. He had been talking about plans for dinner, but now looked concerned again. "You don't need to bother her right now," he said softly. "But what if she's seen something?" My voice came out sharper than intended, surprising even myself. He sighed heavily, rubbing his temples as though trying to ease an unseen weight pressing down on him too. "Okay, go ahead then," he relented, though his tone suggested reluctance. With each step toward Denise's house, I felt the weight of suspicion deepen in my gut. I'd never expected to feel this way among friends or family. It made every footfall heavier than the last, as rocks settled into place in my heart. Denise greeted me warmly when I knocked. Her sun-kissed hair glowed against the waning light of day behind her window panes. She opened her door wide enough for both curiosity and caution to peek through as we exchanged pleasantries. "Is everything all right?" she asked after welcoming me inside her cozy living room, filled with warm colors and hints of lavender from potpourri scattered about. "I saw something odd today," I began hesitantly while taking a seat on her plush couch, adorned with colorful quilts that reminded me of simpler times. "My pillbox, it's half empty." Her eyes widened slightly before a flash of something masked crossed her face. Was it guilt? But she quickly composed herself with an inviting smile that didn't fully reach her eyes. "Oh dear, that doesn't sound good at all." Her voice was sweet, but too rehearsed somehow, like theater masking raw emotion behind decorum. I leaned forward slightly, studying her posture as she tucked her legs under herself on the couch, a habit that indicated discomfort or evasion in conversations we'd shared before. "Have you seen anyone unusual around here?" She shook her head vigorously, but held back from making eye contact, fidgeting nervously with a decorative pillow on her lap instead of engaging with me directly, an indication that perhaps she knew more than she was letting on. Just keep an eye out." Her response had no real substance, just vague concern without clues. But it sent chills rippling through me nonetheless. As we talked about mundane subjects, the weather and kids playing outside, I couldn't shake the nagging feeling gnawing at the edges of my mind like an errant weed refusing to die despite meticulous pruning. There was so much left unsaid between us, a tension thick enough to cut through glass. Finally, I excused myself, after exchanging hollow reassurances about checking up on each other later. It was clear something wasn't adding up here. As I walked back home beneath dimming skies, deep shades of violet and maroon flickering across clouds like secret messages transmitted only in dreams, questions piled upon questions. They grew heavier with each breath inside this strange new reality unfolding around us. By the time I arrived back on our porch, where Samuel awaited, his anxious expression mirrored mine. It became evident we needed clarity now more than ever, before uncertainty widened the gaps between us, like fissures splitting foundations beneath homes built strong over decades that had stood without question or strain until today's sudden upheaval disturbed settled dust once thought dormant. "What did you find out?" he asked immediately upon seeing my face, tightened by worry rather than relief after visiting Denise's cheerful abode, full of laughter that seemed to mask true feelings. Secrets lingered beneath it all, hidden away just beyond reach, whispering unanswered tales. We stood there together, side by side, on the edge of something we couldn't yet name. Trust felt paramount, even as shadows lurked just beyond our periphery. We would need to tread lightly, confront uncertainties raised anew, and face whatever came next, choices that would guide us toward revelations or further doubt. And still, hope urged us not to let go, to rise, to seek answers, to unlock what was hidden, to step forward, together, toward a brighter tomorrow that might yet reveal the truth.
The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the porch. I shifted slightly in the rocking chair, my fingers tracing the smooth wood as I caught Samuel's sidelong glance. "You know," I began, forcing a casual tone as I glanced at Samuel sitting beside me. "I opened my pillbox today and it was half empty. Someone's been helping me without asking." Samuel met my gaze with a furrowed brow. The creaking of the porch under our weight seemed to echo my heartbeat, each sway amplifying my unease. "What do you mean?" he asked, his voice low and steady. I hesitated, searching for the right words while tracing patterns on the armrest with my fingertips. I noticed it wasn't like how I left it. My voice faltered, revealing more than I intended. "It feels like someone's sneaking around behind my back." He leaned closer, tension tightening his jaw. His eyes narrowed slightly as if trying to piece together a puzzle that didn't quite fit. "You should talk to Leonard about this." "I don't want to cause trouble," I replied quietly, but I felt a surge of defiance pushing through me. The rocking chair creaked again under our shifting weight, but I suddenly felt steadier in its embrace. "Trouble? This isn't just gossip," he insisted, his hand reaching out to rest gently on mine. It was warm and grounding amidst the whirlwind of thoughts swirling in my mind. "You need to protect yourself." Protect myself? The notion sent a ripple of something sharp through me. Fear or resolve, perhaps both. I sat up straighter in the chair, pulling away from his touch instinctively as doubt flickered across my face. "No," I said finally, my voice firm but unsteady. "I'll confront him myself." His expression shifted from concern to surprise. He opened his mouth as if to argue, but paused instead. The space between us thickened with an unspoken understanding that neither of us wanted to linger on too long. "Just be careful," he murmured, as he pulled back his hand slowly, leaving an imprint of warmth against my skin where it had rested moments before. I nodded, but felt a coil of uncertainty in my gut tightening with each passing second. As much as this moment held gravity, there was something else gnawing at me. The feeling that more secrets lay hidden beneath the surface. Do you think anyone else knows? I pressed suddenly, anxiety threading through my words as I leaned forward slightly. Samuel shrugged and looked away towards the garden hose coiled carelessly by the flower bed, a tangible reminder of all we'd let slip by unnoticed over time. Who would? He asked softly, but even in his question lingered an echo of suspicion. The thought left an unsettling taste in my mouth like sour milk after too much sweetness. Could Serena have seen anything? Or maybe Denise? They both visited often enough. Their intentions could easily be misconstrued. No one, I whispered back firmly, though uncertainty still curled inwards around me like damp autumn leaves refusing to fall away completely. Samuel remained silent for a moment longer than comfortable before he reached for his glass, resting against the weathered railing nearby. He took a sip and cleared his throat lightly, a gesture that felt almost ritualistic now amid our brewing tension. The atmosphere thickened with every tick of time spent contemplating possibilities we dared not speak out loud. Who could betray me at this stage of life? "I'll handle it alone," I repeated defiantly, although deep down, fear coiled tighter around me under the guise of courage. With each rocking motion of the chair pushing back against gravity's hold on us both, Samuel seemed to surrender just a little more trust into the turbulent air between us. He nodded slowly, as if accepting what was already unfolding before us rather than opposing it outright, a concession that made my pulse race faster than before. "Call me if you need anything then," he finally stated quietly, running an absent hand along one leg of the chair as if needing reassurance from its sturdy frame too. And just like that, a decision made, roles reversed, clarity muddied by lingering doubts and suspicious shadows cast by unseen forces at play beyond our immediate grasp. In turning away from him now, toward what loomed ahead, the unknown confrontation, I felt both exhilarated and trapped in this fragile web we spun ourselves into day after day, without fully realizing its intricacies laid bare before us all along. As dusk settled deeper into nightfall's embrace overhead, crickets began chirping rhythmically. It became clear this wasn't merely about pills anymore. It was about honor intertwined with trust fraying dangerously thin under pressure's weight. And yet, who really knew what lay lurking behind closed doors or faded memories when we weren't watching closely enough?
The rubbery texture of the pillbox lid pressed against my fingertips, but what memory lurked behind this mundane act? A half-empty compartment stared back at me, a startling reminder that someone had been managing my medications without a word. Denise stepped onto the porch, her silhouette framed by the fading sunlight. She didn't see me immediately. Her gaze drifted toward the flower beds. I watched her run a hand through her hair, an anxious gesture that made my stomach tighten. "Hey there," I called out, forcing a smile even as unease bubbled within me. "Do you know when Marcus is coming by?" "He should be here soon." Her voice was steady, but the slight twitch in her mouth suggested otherwise. I leaned back in my chair, the rough wood scraping against the palm as I settled in for what felt like an unveiling. "I've been meaning to ask you about my prescriptions," I said casually, trying to gauge her reaction. "It seems like they've been changing more than usual." She shifted from one foot to the other, clutching the porch railing tightly. "Changes happen all the time, Helen," she replied too quickly, avoiding eye contact. The way she tapped her fingers against the wood had an urgency to it, setting off alarm bells in my mind. "Is that so?" My voice dripped with skepticism as I straightened in my seat. Something was off here. Denise had access to everything. She was practically family, yet she seemed apprehensive about discussing something so mundane as medication. "Yeah," she said sharply, crossing her arms defensively over her chest while glancing down at her feet as if grounding herself. "Maybe it's just your memory playing tricks." I felt a twinge in my chest at that comment. Memories have a way of sneaking up on me lately, hazy and indistinct like a foggy afternoon. Yet this felt different. Something tugged at the corners of my mind. "Help me remember then," I pressed gently but firmly, leaning forward and resting my elbows on my knees. When did we last check those refills together? Her silence weighed heavily between us like an unspoken truth hanging on the edge of our conversation. She finally looked up and met my gaze head-on, but there was a flicker of something darker hidden behind those wide eyes. Maybe it was last month? She offered hesitantly, biting her lip as if trying to suppress more than just words. My heart raced at this admission. It's like standing on a tightrope above uncertainty with no safety net below. Recently relying on Denise for help didn't feel like a choice anymore. It felt forced upon me under some unseen constraint. What kind of changes are you talking about? Did someone tell you not to share? My voice sharpened slightly, echoing off the old wooden beams above us. She hesitated again and exhaled slowly through flared nostrils, before offering a weak smile that didn't reach her eyes. Oh, come on, Helen. You know how things can get complicated around here. That line struck me deeper than any intended excuse could ever do. It danced teasingly close to something larger than both of us. The creaking screen door swung open lightly behind Denise, momentarily catching our shared tension in its hinges. I don't think this is just about getting prescriptions sorted out. My inner conviction surged forward like molten lava edging closer to overflow. We should address this, or else it'll keep festering. Denise's shoulders slumped almost imperceptibly, as if surrendering to invisible pressure weighing upon them. She opened her mouth but closed it again abruptly, which left me wondering what she really wanted to say, if anything at all. I'll talk to Marcus when he gets here, she finally conceded, with an uneasy sigh while pulling away from the railing entirely now, as though distancing herself from whatever burden hung above us. The air thickened around us with unspoken fears and regrets swirling like leaves tossed in autumn winds. I couldn't shake off the nagging sense that something beyond simple mismanagement lay hidden beneath Denise's dismissive demeanor. As we sat side by side on that weathered porch swing, swaying lightly back and forth under twilight's embrace, I couldn't help but wonder if this conversation would lead somewhere crucial, or if we'd remain tangled in this web of evasiveness forevermore, waiting for clarity while watching shadows deepen around us with each passing moment. Could it be possible that trust had already slipped through our fingers without either one realizing?
The garden hose lay coiled beside the porch, its rubbery surface marked with faded lines and patches of sun. I reached out and traced my fingers along its length, recalling how it used to connect us to life in the garden. The creaking of the screen door announced Samuel's arrival. He stepped outside, a look of concern etched on his face as he surveyed the yard. I could feel the tension in the air shift slightly as he looked at me, gauging my mood. "What's on your mind?" he asked, leaning against the railing. His forearms rested there, tensing slightly as he awaited my response. I hesitated, unsure whether to voice my doubts about Serena's earlier visit. "I opened my pillbox today," I finally said, avoiding his gaze. It was half empty. The words hung between us like the heat in the air, thick and suffocating. Samuel frowned, pushing himself off the railing. "You should have those filled regularly." His tone held a hint of reproach that knotted in my stomach. I didn't want to argue about medication management when there were deeper worries brewing beneath our quiet lives. Just then, Denise appeared through the gate, her long brown hair catching the fading light as she walked toward us with quick steps. Seeing her brought an unexpected warmth to my chest, but also a flicker of unease. She had been acting strangely lately. "Hey!" she called out cheerfully, though her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. She joined us at the edge of the porch, and I noticed how she kept glancing back toward the street, as if expecting someone else to arrive. "Everything okay?" I asked, trying to mask my concern. My fingers tightened around the edge of the railing while I studied her face for answers. Denise shifted her weight lightly, but avoided making direct eye contact with either of us. "Yeah, just came by to check on you. You know how busy things are." Her voice trailed off. The way she shifted her weight from one foot to another suggested that something weighed heavily on her mind. I felt a pulse of anxiety rush through me, as if it was ricocheting off the walls of our familiar home. "What's on your mind?" The question slipped out before I could stop myself. A part of me hoped she would deny any trouble. Denise hesitated before responding, biting her lip as if considering how much to reveal. "She's just dealing with some stuff." Her vague answer left more questions than comfort. Samuel crossed his arms and glanced between us with raised eyebrows. I sensed his protective instinct surfacing as he took a step closer to me again. Yet all this did was create more distance between Denise and I, like an invisible wall separating our worlds. I needed clarity. This small-town gossip always seemed laced with hidden agendas and unspoken truths. "What kind of stuff?" My voice held a firmness not fully matched by my racing heart. Denise paused again. This time it felt deliberate as she collected her thoughts like leaves scattered in autumn winds. "I think it's about something you might have mentioned." She lowered her voice, almost conspiratorially. My breath caught in my throat as dread washed over me like cold water splashing against skin in wintertime. What had I said? Hadn't everything been fine between us until now? "It can't be anything serious," Samuel interjected quickly, though his expression suggested otherwise. A furrowed brow and tight jaw reflected concern rather than reassurance. Denise finally met my eyes directly for an instant before looking away once more. "Maybe you should ask her yourself." There was a finality in her tone that made me shiver slightly. It felt like an invitation into murky waters where secrets lurked unseen. I turned back towards Samuel with newfound determination bubbling up inside me like spring shoots breaking through frozen ground. "I will talk to Serena tonight," I decided aloud, feeling empowered, yet nervous at what might come next. As dusk began settling over our home like a soft blanket wrapping around its corners, uncertainty surrounded me, just like that garden hose lying still beside us. A lifeline waiting to reconnect us or entangle us further into complications we barely understood. With this thought lingering at the edges of my consciousness, I couldn't shake off an unsettling feeling that something deeper lay beneath these interactions, the truth hiding just out of sight, but ever present nonetheless. What exactly was happening within our circle? Something told me it would soon unravel right before my eyes. The garden hose lay coiled beside the porch, its rubbery surface marked with faded lines and patches of sun. I reached out and traced my fingers along its length, recalling how it used to connect us to life in the garden. The creaking of the screen door announced Samuel's arrival. He stepped outside, a look of concern etched on his face as he surveyed the yard. I could feel the tension in the air shift slightly as he looked at me, gauging my mood. "What's on your mind?" he asked, leaning against the railing. His forearms rested there, tensing slightly as he awaited my response. I hesitated, unsure whether to voice my doubts about Serena's earlier visit. "I opened my pillbox today," I finally said, avoiding his gaze. It was half empty. The words hung between us like the heat in the air, thick and suffocating. Samuel frowned, pushing himself off the railing. "You should have those filled regularly." His tone held a hint of reproach that knotted in my stomach. I didn't want to argue about medication management when there were deeper worries brewing beneath our quiet lives. Just then, Denise appeared through the gate, her long brown hair catching the fading light as she walked toward us with quick steps. Seeing her brought an unexpected warmth to my chest, but also a flicker of unease. She had been acting strangely lately. "Hey!" she called out cheerfully, though her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. She joined us at the edge of the porch, and I noticed how she kept glancing back toward the street, as if expecting someone else to arrive. "Everything okay?" I asked, trying to mask my concern. My fingers tightened around the edge of the railing while I studied her face for answers. Denise shifted her weight lightly, but avoided making direct eye contact with either of us. "Yeah, just came by to check on you. You know how busy things are." Her voice trailed off. The way she shifted her weight from one foot to another suggested that something weighed heavily on her mind. I felt a pulse of anxiety rush through me, as if it was ricocheting off the walls of our familiar home. "What's on your mind?" The question slipped out before I could stop myself. A part of me hoped she would deny any trouble. Denise hesitated before responding, biting her lip as if considering how much to reveal. "She's just dealing with some stuff." Her vague answer left more questions than comfort. Samuel crossed his arms and glanced between us with raised eyebrows. I sensed his protective instinct surfacing as he took a step closer to me again. Yet all this did was create more distance between Denise and I, like an invisible wall separating our worlds. I needed clarity. This small-town gossip always seemed laced with hidden agendas and unspoken truths. "What kind of stuff?" My voice held a firmness not fully matched by my racing heart. Denise paused again. This time it felt deliberate as she collected her thoughts like leaves scattered in autumn winds. "I think it's about something you might have mentioned." She lowered her voice, almost conspiratorially. My breath caught in my throat as dread washed over me like cold water splashing against skin in wintertime. What had I said? Hadn't everything been fine between us until now? "It can't be anything serious," Samuel interjected quickly, though his expression suggested otherwise. A furrowed brow and tight jaw reflected concern rather than reassurance. Denise finally met my eyes directly for an instant before looking away once more. "Maybe you should ask her yourself." There was a finality in her tone that made me shiver slightly. It felt like an invitation into murky waters where secrets lurked unseen. I turned back towards Samuel with newfound determination bubbling up inside me like spring shoots breaking through frozen ground. "I will talk to Serena tonight," I decided aloud, feeling empowered, yet nervous at what might come next. As dusk began settling over our home like a soft blanket wrapping around its corners, uncertainty surrounded me, just like that garden hose lying still beside us. A lifeline waiting to reconnect us or entangle us further into complications we barely understood. With this thought lingering at the edges of my consciousness, I couldn't shake off an unsettling feeling that something deeper lay beneath these interactions, the truth hiding just out of sight, but ever present nonetheless. What exactly was happening within our circle? Something told me it would soon unravel right before my eyes. I tapped the silver pen lightly against my palm, the rhythmic sound mingling with the fading day. Its polished surface caught the last glimmers of light, reflecting an unease I couldn't shake. Serena stood across from me, her fingers fiddling with the hem of her blouse. I could see her eyes darting, avoiding mine as if they were searching for an escape route. The creaking screen door behind her was a distant reminder of my husband's footsteps that had just left. "Tell me about the medication," I said, trying to keep my voice steady despite the tremor in my hand. The pen felt heavier now, as if it was charged with unspoken truths. She hesitated, glancing towards the garden where shadows lengthened like secrets waiting to be uncovered. "I've been keeping track," she replied, her tone faltering. My heartbeat quickened at her answer. I leaned forward slightly, breaking the space between us in a way that demanded more than vague reassurances. "Track what?" I pressed, gripping the pen tighter now as if it could anchor me amidst this storm of uncertainty. Serena stiffened at my words, her face blanching as she processed the question. It was then that I noticed a small bottle peeking out of her tote bag, resting on the ground beside her. I wondered why she hadn't mentioned it before. "That's just vitamins," she stammered, raising an eyebrow defensively while pointing specifically at the tote bag. A bead of sweat trickled down my back as I watched her every move closely. "No one tracks vitamins, Serena." My voice was sharper than intended. I felt a flush creep up my neck as unease settled deeper in my chest. "What are you hiding?" Her resolve crumbled for a moment before she regained composure. "Look, Helen, it's not what you think." She took a step back and clutched her bag protectively against herself, like a shield. I could sense the power shift between us as I stared into her eyes, searching for something, anything, that resembled honesty. They flickered like candle flames caught in a draft. There was fear there. "I have to know," I insisted quietly. "You're close enough to get into this mess." Serena opened her mouth to protest but closed it quickly again. Instead, she let out a shaky breath as if preparing for impact. Perhaps she understood how serious this was becoming. In that moment, anger coursed through me like electricity. It ignited an instinctual urge to confront whatever lay beneath this facade. "Show me what's in the bag." Her eyes widened in disbelief at my command. Part of me realized how desperate I sounded, while part of me wondered why that mattered anymore. "You shouldn't," she began, but faltered again under my unwavering gaze. "I don't care what I shouldn't do anymore," I interrupted firmly, feeling boldness rise within me like heat from an oven door flung open too soon. "Just show me." With reluctant hands, trembling slightly, Serena reached into her bag and pulled out the small bottle labeled with familiar lettering, a prescription filled far too often over recent months. My breath caught. Realization crashed over me like icy water. "Why do you have this?" My voice shook with betrayal as confusion mingled with dread. Everything shifted when faced with this evidence hidden away from my sight. "It's not what you think." Her voice rose in panic while clutching tightly onto the bottle, like it might shatter under scrutiny or escape responsibility altogether. "Then explain." My grip on the pen tightened further until its cold metal pressed deeply into skin, an unwelcome reminder of how far trust had slipped away from us both. The silence stretched taut between us, a fragile thread ready to snap. I felt something break inside myself too. Faith shattered alongside, honor lost forevermore. Serena finally plunged into explanations that meant very little now. The truth twisted by fear and desperation, wrapped around each word spoken hurriedly through parted lips, quivering under pressure. But still, I couldn't shake off one thought lingering ominously within reach. What led to this secret exchange? What would unlock all these layers separating us further? The wind picked up slightly outside. Whispers lingered through rustling leaves beyond our bleak reality here on this porch, where light faded slowly along with our chances for clarity and understanding alike. Would any answers reveal themselves before darkness settled fully into place? I gripped the silver pen tightly, its cool surface biting into my palm. The porch swung gently beneath me, creaking with the weight of anticipation. I glanced at Serena, her brow furrowed as she stared into the gathering shadows. "What are you thinking?" I asked, trying to bridge the gap that felt wider than ever. My voice resonated against the dimming light, and for a moment it seemed like the world paused. Serena shifted her gaze to the ground, tracing patterns in the dust with her bare toe. I could see the uncertainty in her posture, shoulders slumped and hands twitching at her sides. There was something unspoken hanging between us. I took a breath, shifting my weight as I considered whether to push further. The pen's metallic sheen caught a glimmer of twilight, drawing my focus back to it. "I might be able to help you," I suggested, my heart racing at the prospect of opening up. This wasn't just about our past, but also about confronting whatever lay ahead. Her eyes met mine, wide and searching. "You first," she said quietly, but I could sense an unyielding strength beneath her words. The air thickened between us. Silence stretched on. I could feel every heartbeat echoing in my chest as I contemplated how much to reveal. Would sharing my truths ignite a spark or extinguish any flicker of hope?
I opened the tin box, and a faded receipt slipped out, its worn edges sparking memories of that summer barbecue. The scent of charred meat lingered in the air, a perfect day painted over with laughter and sunshine. But now, as I glanced at the crumpled paper on my lap, its edges worn like old secrets, my heart began to race. This wasn't just any receipt. It was dated 2 months before Samuel's last visit, showing a purchase I couldn't recall. I pinched the paper between my fingers, feeling the rough texture beneath my skin, as I tried to piece together what this could mean. Why had I not noticed it before? What did it matter now? The creaking screen door pulled me away from my thoughts. Samuel stepped out onto the porch, his brow furrowed as he caught sight of my expression. He shifted his weight from one foot to the other, an anxious gesture that told me he sensed something was off. "What's going on, Helen?" His voice hung in the evening air, filled with an uncharacteristic edge. I held up the receipt, letting it flutter slightly in the cool breeze like a flag of war. "Do you know anything about this?" His eyes darted to the paper and then back to mine. The flicker of uncertainty crossed his face, and for a moment I felt my pulse quicken under his gaze. He swallowed hard, avoiding direct eye contact as if afraid that looking too long would reveal everything. "Where did you find it?" he asked carefully, each word measured like a step on thin ice. "In the box," I replied sharply. "Right here on the porch where we keep all our important things." My fingers tapped against the wood grain of the railing, punctuating my frustration. Samuel hesitated before stepping closer, peering at the receipt as if it might shed light on its own existence. "It's just a shopping list," he muttered dismissively, but even he didn't sound convinced. "No," I shook my head firmly, anger rising within me like a tide threatening to pull everything under. "This is dated before your last visit. Explain why you're buying things without telling anyone." As his silence stretched between us like a yawning chasm, I put down the receipt and placed both hands flat against my thighs. They trembled slightly. Anxiety coursed through me like electricity on bone. Suddenly, there was movement behind him. Leonard emerged from inside, rubbing his hands together as if trying to shake off an uneasy chill that settled over us like fog after dusk. He noticed our standoff instantly and raised an eyebrow in question. I opened the tin box, and a faded receipt slipped out, its worn edges sparking memories of that summer barbecue. The scent of charred meat lingered in the air, a perfect day painted over with laughter and sunshine. But now, as I glanced at the crumpled paper on my lap, its edges worn like old secrets, my heart began to race. This wasn't just any receipt. It was dated 2 months before Samuel's last visit, showing a purchase I couldn't recall. I pinched the paper between my fingers, feeling the rough texture beneath my skin, as I tried to piece together what this could mean. Why had I not noticed it before? What did it matter now? The creaking screen door pulled me away from my thoughts. Samuel stepped out onto the porch, his brow furrowed as he caught sight of my expression. He shifted his weight from one foot to the other, an anxious gesture that told me he sensed something was off. "What's going on, Helen?" His voice hung in the evening air, filled with an uncharacteristic edge. I held up the receipt, letting it flutter slightly in the cool breeze like a flag of war. "Do you know anything about this?" His eyes darted to the paper and then back to mine. The flicker of uncertainty crossed his face, and for a moment I felt my pulse quicken under his gaze. He swallowed hard, avoiding direct eye contact as if afraid that looking too long would reveal everything. "Where did you find it?" he asked, carefully, each word measured like a step on thin ice. "In the box," I replied sharply, "right here on the porch where we keep all our important things." My fingers tapped against the wood grain of the railing, punctuating my frustration. Samuel hesitated before stepping closer, peering at the receipt as if it might shed light on its own existence. "It's just a shopping list," he muttered dismissively. But even he didn't sound convinced. "No." I shook my head firmly, anger rising within me like a tide threatening to pull everything under. "This is dated before your last visit. Explain why you're buying things without telling anyone." As his silence stretched between us like a yawning chasm, I put down the receipt and placed both hands flat against my thighs. They trembled slightly. Anxiety coursed through me like electricity on bone. Suddenly, there was movement behind him. Leonard emerged from inside, rubbing his hands together as if trying to shake off an uneasy chill that settled over us like fog after dusk. He noticed our standoff instantly and raised an eyebrow in question. "What's happening out here?" Leonard's tone was insistent yet casual. It felt rehearsed somehow. "Just discussing some receipts," Samuel said quickly, but kept his eyes fixed on me instead of addressing Leonard directly. Leonard stepped forward towards us both, but turned toward Samuel first, with concern etched across his features. "You okay? You look pale." "Don't act so concerned," Samuel snapped back defensively, while crossing his arms over his chest in a protective manner. The tension twisted painfully in my gut. As I watched them exchange wary glances, two men vying for dominance over something intangible yet crucial: trust and honesty. "I need answers," I demanded loudly, enough that it surprised even me. Resolve surged within me, like fire kindled by dry wood. "Why were you buying groceries when we agreed not to spend beyond our means? And why am I only seeing this now?" Leonard looked taken aback at first, but quickly regained composure. He opened his mouth, but seemed unsure how to proceed without upsetting either of us further. "If someone has been hiding things..." A wave of nausea rolled over me as uncertainty churned violently deep in my stomach, like stormy seas crashing against rocky cliffs. "I thought we were open about everything." The words slipped out colder than intended. Perhaps they cut deeper than expected, too, because both men flinched at once, almost imperceptibly, just enough for me to notice that shared discomfort. Before anyone could respond, Denise walked onto the porch, carrying her own set of grocery bags filled with brightly colored produce spilling over their edges like vibrant confetti amidst gloominess unfolding around us. She paused mid-step upon noticing our charged atmosphere, beneath soft golden light illuminating this gathering place, where secrets swirled thickly amongst us all. Threatening yet fascinating, like low-hanging storm clouds pregnant with impending rain, poised ready to burst open any minute now, unleashing chaos thereafter without warning whatsoever. Denise's arrival shifted something within myself, a fleeting sense that perhaps she could offer perspective or insight into whatever had gone awry here tonight, yet hinted ever so subtly at deeper fractures forming silently, lurking underneath all these interactions, bubbling up, just waiting for someone brave enough finally break through barriers, built painstakingly, constructed over years until now it felt precarious balancing act, teetering closer towards collapse every passing moment spent lingering here, surrounded by reminders, tangibly present everywhere around them, including those burdensome grocery bags, still grasped tightly despite tension built, mounting higher still, amidst silence echoing louder than words spoken aloud. "I found this receipt." My voice trembled slightly upon delivering message meant to convey urgency, masked behind layers containing vulnerability exposed bare beneath harsh realities, unfolding unbidden once again, into view, needing acknowledgement urgently, lest they become lost forever within the tangled web, connecting lives entwined intricately, unable to escape fate awaiting, patiently just outside the threshold,
beckoning onward relentlessly forward into unknown territory ahead, threatening much worse than mere disagreements left unresolved, festering quietly beneath the surface level, conversations turning increasingly volatile unless addressed swiftly without hesitation. Denise reached out instinctively towards the receipt, grasping it gingerly between thumb and index finger, inspecting closely, while curiosity danced across her features, revealing minuscule spark ignited, hope somewhere hidden deep within, waiting patiently, yearning to discover truth, buried beneath layers, obscured carefully, crafted illusions woven tightly around relationships, formed throughout lifetimes, lived intimately, intertwined, since childhood memories, began unfolding gradually, leading path ultimately brought us together today, standing united front-facing adversities, confronting fears arisen suddenly, unexpectedly, challenging deeply held beliefs long cherished, revered. I watched her expression shift thoughtfully before glancing back between Leonard and Samuel, searching desperately for answers, lying dormant below the surface, eager reclamation somehow, thereby renewing connection torn apart, fracture lines emerging wider daily, revealing fissures, once invisible, now glaring unmistakable, urging caution forward no matter the risks entailed, despite beckoning darkness lurking nearby, threatening to sway decisions made inevitably, resulting consequences dire, unforeseen, unexpected, looming ominously ahead, shrouded in mystery pressing heavily downward, suffocating slowly, crushing resistance painfully, inching nearer fate unaware, entwined mishaps unraveling beyond control. Tell me everything. My plea echoed softly, lingering heavy sweetened air, burdened by lingering tension, awaiting release, palpable anticipation saturate.
The rough wooden surface of the porch felt warm beneath my fingertips. I leaned forward in my chair, every muscle coiled with anticipation. Samuel's gaze pierced through me, heavy and unyielding like a winter coat. He had that look again, the one that said he had secrets to protect, and I could feel my heart racing under the weight of it. "Do you want to talk about it?" he asked, his voice low but edged with tension. I could hear the creaking of the old rocking chair nearby as Denise adjusted her position, eyes darting between us. "I think we need to address what's been happening," I replied, forcing myself not to look away. The light breeze felt cool against my skin, a stark contrast to the heat enveloping this moment. Marcus appeared around the corner of the house, his face scrunched with curiosity. The envelope cradled in his hand seemed to radiate an urgency that made my stomach twist. It held answers that we all dreaded. "Mom?" he began, hesitation weaving through his words. "I found something." That single line turned the air thick and stifling. My pulse quickened as I reached for the edge of my chair, gripping it tightly as if it would anchor me amid an impending storm. "What did you find?" Leonard interjected from behind Marcus, his brows knitted in concern. The way he spoke made me remember how much had been left unsaid over the years. "It's about Aunt Loretta," Marcus continued, shifting nervously from one foot to another. The envelope was silent testament to buried truths and whispered secrets. I could almost feel its weight pressing down on us. "Let's cut to it," Denise said sharply, her voice cutting through like a knife. She crossed her arms tightly over her chest as if bracing herself for impact. With no time left for niceties or small talk, I leaned forward even more. "Enough games," I insisted firmly. "We owe it to ourselves." My voice trembled slightly on ourselves, revealing just how close to breaking point I felt. "There are things you don't know about your aunt," Marcus pressed on, finally opening the envelope with trembling fingers. Inside was a stack of papers that gleamed ominously. The rough wooden surface of the porch felt warm beneath my fingertips. I leaned forward in my chair, every muscle coiled with anticipation. Samuel's gaze pierced through me, heavy and unyielding like a winter coat. He had that look again, the one that said he had secrets to protect, and I could feel my heart racing under the weight of it. "Do you want to talk about it?" he asked, his voice low but edged with tension. I could hear the creaking of the old rocking chair nearby as Denise adjusted her position, eyes darting between us. "I think we need to address what's been happening," I replied, forcing myself not to look away. The light breeze felt cool against my skin, a stark contrast to the heat enveloping this moment. Marcus appeared around the corner of the house, his face scrunched with curiosity. The envelope cradled in his hands seemed to radiate an urgency that made my stomach twist. It held answers that we all dreaded. "Mom?" he began, hesitation weaving through his words. "I found something." That single line turned the air thick and stifling. My pulse quickened as I reached for the edge of my chair, gripping it tightly as if it would anchor me amid an impending storm. "What did you find?" Leonard interjected behind Marcus, his brows knitted in concern. The way he spoke made me remember how much had been left unsaid over the years. "It's about Aunt Loretta," Marcus continued, shifting nervously from one foot to another. The envelope was a silent testament to buried truths and whispered secrets. I could almost feel its weight pressing down on us. "Let's cut to it," Denise said sharply, her voice cutting through like a knife. She crossed her arms tightly over her chest, as if bracing herself for impact. With no time left for niceties or small talk, I leaned forward even more. "Enough games," I insisted firmly. "We owe it to ourselves." My voice trembled slightly on ourselves, revealing just how close to breaking point I felt. "There are things you don't know about your aunt," Marcus pressed on, finally opening the envelope with trembling fingers. Inside was a stack of papers that gleamed ominously under the fading sunlight. "What do those say?" Samuel demanded now, his earlier stance softening into genuine concern. As Marcus unfolded the top sheet slowly, I felt heat flooding my cheeks, the kind born from fear rather than shame. The ticking clock inside my head echoed louder than ever. This was not how family gatherings were supposed to unfold. "They're legal documents," Marcus said hesitantly. "They mention money." His voice wavered at money, and unease slithered through me like a snake ready to strike. "Money?" Samuel echoed incredulously as he shifted in his seat. The porch seemed smaller now, a tight space filled with swirling emotions that threatened to choke me. "They indicate she left something behind for us," Marcus clarified cautiously while flipping through pages filled with intricate details and spidery handwriting. Each line revealed more than just monetary value. They hinted at betrayal nestled deep within our family tree. Leonard leaned closer as though he needed reassurance that this couldn't be true. "What else does it say?" His voice dropped lower still, as if speaking too loudly would shatter whatever fragile peace remained among us. "It's about honor," Marcus uttered finally after reading further down the page. A word so loaded yet intangible in this context. Honor hung heavy between us now, like an unshed tear waiting for release, binding us together even as distance widened each minute spent here together on this porch that had witnessed so many family moments before today. I felt compelled by some invisible force pressing on my chest, a pressure urging me toward confrontation rather than retreating into silence again, out of fear of upsetting anyone else's delicate balance within our family dynamics. "I'm facing this head on," I declared, with newfound resolve rising up inside me, like steam escaping from boiling water. There was no backing down now, no hiding behind pleasantries or polite avoidance anymore. The atmosphere shifted palpably at my words. The air crackled with electricity, and everyone held their breath as though nature itself expected an explosion next. Denise blinked rapidly while resentment flickered across her features. She looked ready to argue, but quickly caught herself outside any potential fallout here. Today, after everything already laid bare out in front of us all just minutes ago. It took effort not glancing away, lest vulnerability showed too plainly upon my face for them all see clearly. In that moment, among tangled emotions intertwined deep within familial ties stretching across years gone by,
I couldn't help but think perhaps these revelations weren't merely meant to stir trouble, but instead rectify long-standing grievances hidden behind smiles exchanged past dinners shared together earlier times. "What happens next?" Samuel asked quietly, suddenly sounding more vulnerable than confrontational. His body language shifted from defensive posture into something softer again, towards understanding, almost perhaps acceptance. As thoughts raced through my mind, so many questions left unanswered swirled around within. My fingers brushed against my leg nervously, while watching them gauge reactions playing off each other right now wouldn't alter anything already set into motion here today. Yet uncertainty loomed large, looming above, casting doubt whether closure could ever truly exist given complexities faced still ahead.